Canada, the second largest country in the world, is renowned for its vast and diverse landscapes. From the rugged peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the windswept shores of the Atlantic, Canada's natural beauty captivates the imagination. The country is home to lush forests, pristine lakes, and sprawling prairies, each region offering a unique experience. Canada's cultural diversity is equally as impressive as its landscapes, with a history of immigration from all corners of the globe. Canada is a melting pot of traditions, languages, and perspectives. This rich tapestry of cultures has shaped the nation's identity, fostering a spirit of inclusivity and respect for difference. From bustling cosmopolitan cities to charming rural towns, Canada offers a mosaic of experiences. Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal are vibrant hubs of art, culture, and innovation. Smaller communities like Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia or Banff in Alberta retain their unique charm and offer glimpses into Canada's heritage and natural wonders. The spirit of exploration and adventure is deeply ingrained in Canada's identity. With vast wilderness areas, national parks, and a network of hiking trails, Canadians have a strong connection to the outdoors. Whether it's camping under the stars in Algonquin Park or kayaking through the turquoise waters of Moraine Lake, Canada offers endless opportunities to connect with nature. Canada's provinces and territories each have their own distinct character and traditions. From the maritime culture of the Atlantic provinces to the French heritage of Quebec, each region contributes to the nation's cultural mosaic. This diversity is celebrated through festivals, music, and cuisine, making Canada a vibrant tapestry of human experience. The country's commitment to multiculturalism is reflected in its policies and social fabric, creating a society where people from all backgrounds can thrive. Canada's history is a complex and fascinating narrative shaped by Indigenous peoples, European explorers, and the forces of colonialism. Long before the arrival of Europeans, Indigenous peoples thrived on the land, developing diverse cultures, languages, and traditions. The arrival of European explorers in the late 15th and early 16th centuries marked a turning point in Canada's history, leading to trade, alliances, and ultimately conflict. The French and British established colonies in Canada, vying for control over resources and territory. The struggle for dominance between France and Britain culminated in the 7 Years' War, 1756-1763, which resulted in France ceding control of Canada to Britain. The British North America Act of 1867 formally united the provinces of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Canada, which was divided into Ontario and Quebec, into the Dominion of Canada. This event marked a significant step towards Canadian independence and self-governance. Confederation was driven by a number of factors, including the desire for greater economic and political unity, the need for defense against potential American expansion, and the growing sense of a distinct Canadian identity. The Fathers of Confederation, a group of politicians who played key roles in negotiating the terms of union, envisioned a nation that embraced its diverse heritage while forging a new path forward. The process of confederation was not without its challenges, as regional differences and the rights of Indigenous peoples remained complex issues. Throughout Canada's history, numerous individuals have left an indelible mark on the nation's development and identity. Sir John A. Macdonald, Canada's first Prime Minister, is considered one of the architects of Confederation and played a pivotal role in expanding the nation westward. His vision of a united Canada connected by the Transcontinental Railway helped to solidify the country's presence on the world stage. Georges-Étienne Cartier, another father of Confederation, championed the interests of French Canadians, ensuring that their language, culture, and legal traditions were protected within the new Dominion. Lester B. Pearson, Canada's Prime Minister from 1963 to 1968, is renowned for his contributions to international diplomacy and peacekeeping. He played a key role in resolving the Suez Crisis of 1956 and introduced universal health care to Canada, leaving a lasting legacy on the country's social fabric. Tommy Douglas, the Premier of Saskatchewan from 1944 to 1961, is considered the father of Canada's universal health care system. His unwavering commitment to social justice and equality paved the way for a more equitable and compassionate society. These are just a few examples of the many individuals who have shaped Canada's history. Their contributions, both grand and small, have woven together the intricate tapestry of Canadian identity. From explorers and settlers to politicians and activists, Canadians have continuously strived to build a better future for themselves and generations to come. The legacy of these individuals continues to inspire Canadians to embrace their pasts while working towards a more just and prosperous future. The spirit of exploration and expansion has been a defining characteristic of Canada's history, from the early voyages of European explorers to the westward movement of settlers in the 19th century. The vastness of the Canadian wilderness beckoned adventurers, fur traders, and those seeking new opportunities and a fresh start. The Hudson's Bay Company, established in 1670, played a pivotal role in the fur trade, establishing trading posts across Canada and fostering relationships with Indigenous peoples. The company's influence extended from the shores of Hudson Bay to the Pacific coast, shaping the economic and social landscape of the nation. The construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway in the late 19th century was a monumental feat of engineering and a symbol of Canada's westward expansion. The railway connected the east and west coasts, facilitating trade, communication, and the movement of people across the vast country. This ambitious project opened up new frontiers for settlement and resource development, contributing to Canada's economic growth and national unity. The spirit of exploration continues to resonate in Canada today as Canadians embrace outdoor adventures, scientific discoveries, and the pursuit of knowledge. From the Arctic research stations to the vast national parks, Canadians are drawn to the challenges and wonders of the natural world. The country's commitment to space exploration, through its contributions to the International Space Station and the development of cutting-edge technologies, reflects Canada's ongoing pursuit of innovation and discovery. Section 5. The struggle for Indigenous rights and reconciliation. The history of Indigenous peoples in Canada is marked by both resilience and tragedy. From the early days of European contact, Indigenous communities faced displacement, disease, and the loss of their traditional lands and ways of life. The Indian Act of 1876, a piece of legislation that aimed to assimilate Indigenous peoples into Canadian society, had devastating consequences, eroding Indigenous cultures and self-governance. Residential schools, which operated for over a century, forcibly removed indigenous children from their families and communities, subjecting them to abuse and cultural erasure. In recent decades, Canada has begun to acknowledge the injustices faced by indigenous peoples and to pursue a path of reconciliation. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, established in 2008, documented the horrific experiences of residential school survivors and issued a series of calls to action to address the legacy of colonialism. These calls to action include recognizing Indigenous rights, promoting language and culture revitalization, and addressing the systemic inequalities faced by Indigenous communities. The process of reconciliation is ongoing and requires sustained commitment from all Canadians. It involves acknowledging past wrongs, listening to Indigenous voices, and working together to build a more just and equitable future, respecting treaties, promoting Indigenous self-determination, and supporting economic and social development in Indigenous communities are crucial steps towards achieving reconciliation. Canada's commitment to bilingualism and multiculturalism is a cornerstone of its national identity. The Official Languages Act of 1969 recognized English and French as the country's official languages, ensuring that Canadians have the right to access government services and communicate in their preferred language. This legislation has played a crucial role in preserving French language and culture in Canada, particularly in Quebec, where French is the majority language. Canada's multiculturalism policy, adopted in 1971, formally recognized the value of diversity and the contributions of immigrants to Canadian society. This policy promotes inclusion, respect for different cultures, and the right of all Canadians to maintain their cultural identities while participating fully in Canadian life. Canada has welcomed waves of immigration from all over the world, enriching its cultural tapestry and contributing to its economic growth and social vibrancy. The commitment to bilingualism and multiculturalism is not without its challenges. Language tensions persist in some regions, and the integration of newcomers can be complex. However, Canada's embrace of diversity continues to be a source of strength and a reflection of its evolving national identity. Canada has a long and proud history of international engagement, playing an active role in promoting peace, security, and development around the world. Canada's commitment to peacekeeping dates back to the Suez Crisis of 1956, when Lester B. Pearson proposed the creation of a United Nations peacekeeping force to help resolve the conflict. Since then, Canada has participated in numerous peacekeeping missions, from Cyprus to Rwanda to Afghanistan. Canada is also a strong advocate for multilateralism and international cooperation. It is a founding member of the United Nations and plays an active role in organizations such as the G7, the Commonwealth, and La Francophonie. Canada's foreign policy priorities include promoting human rights, democracy, and the rule of law, as well as addressing global challenges such as climate change, poverty, and inequality. Canada's international engagement is driven by a belief that a more peaceful and prosperous world benefits all nations. Its contributions to peacekeeping, development assistance, and diplomacy reflect its commitment to global citizenship and its desire to make a positive impact on the world stage. Canada is a prosperous nation with a diversified economy, abundant natural resources, and a high standard of living. Its key industries include natural resources extraction, manufacturing, agriculture, and technology. Canada is a major exporter of energy, minerals, and agricultural products, and its financial sector is strong and stable. The country has a well-educated workforce and a high level of technological innovation. However, Canada faces a number of economic challenges, including regional disparities, income inequality, and the need to transition to a more sustainable economy. Climate change poses a significant threat to Canada's environment and economy, particularly in vulnerable regions such as the Arctic and coastal areas. Canada is committed to reducing its greenhouse gas emissions and investing in clean energy technologies. Balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability is a key challenge for Canada in the 21st century. The country's vast natural resources are both a source of wealth and a responsibility to manage wisely for future generations. Investing in renewable energy, promoting energy efficiency, and protecting biodiversity are essential steps towards a more sustainable future. Canada's national identity is a complex and ever-evolving mosaic, shaped by its history, geography, and the contributions of its diverse population. It is a country that embraces its duality, balancing its British and French heritage with its indigenous roots and its multicultural present. Canada's values include inclusivity, tolerance, and respect for human rights. Canada is a nation in progress, constantly striving to live up to its ideals and address its shortcomings. The legacy of colonialism, the struggle for Indigenous rights, and the challenges of building a truly equitable society are ongoing conversations in Canada. However, the country's commitment to dialogue, reconciliation, and social justice provides hope for a brighter future. Canada's national identity is not defined by a single narrative or a fixed set of characteristics. It is a dynamic and fluid concept, enriched by the experiences and perspectives of its people. Canada's journey is one of continuous evolution as it navigates the complexities of its past, embraces the opportunities of the present, and strives to build a more just and prosperous future for all its citizens.